Hello and happy Thursday. Oh, okay. I will wait just a minute or two for people to hop on live. I asked you guys to vote about what you wanted me to talk about today, and the winner was that I talk about how you know when it's time to let a client go, which sounds nicer than firing them, right? I posted in the group earlier this week that I let a client go, and in fact, I've actually let 2 clients go this week. And I'll explain to you why they both happen kind of together, and the thought process that went into it, and why it's so hard to do, and when to kind of know that it's the right time. It's a tough decision to make to let a client go, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I've actually been thinking about it for a while. Neither of these clients is connected to me on Facebook. They were some of my only clients that I didn't meet on Facebook, so I feel pretty safe talking about in the group, and I'm not going to name them, but and I'm not going to give any real identifying details, but I'll tell you a little bit about how they came into my business, because they were both longtime clients, 2 of my first clients actually, and so I will tell you a little bit about how they came into my business and why they are now out of my business. And if you're one of my clients and you're watching this, I swear I don't go around firing clients very often, so you're in no danger. I don't have any clients left that are on my naughty list or that I'm considering firing, so you're all safe, I promise. I feel terrible. So if you guys are here and watching live, say hello. I would love to know who's here. But I'm going to go ahead and get started, and people who tune in a little late can go back and watch the replay, because I want to try to stay on time with this, and I actually have some more pitches to send for those of you who are clients. My day is not over, so I'm just going to jump on and do the live, and then I'm going to go back to my pitching. Okay, so first let me tell you a little bit about what my business was like in the beginning when these clients came in, because that is going to better explain why I finally let them go and why that was the right decision for my business. So if you've had a business for very long, then you know that your business evolves. And I think that one of the best ways to figure out what you want to do and who you want to work with is to start working with people. And so the people you work with in the beginning of your business might not be your ideal clients anymore. And that is exactly what happened to me. And that's why it's sort of important to know how these people came into my business and the type of work I was doing for them, because if you follow me now, you'll probably understand why they weren't a good fit for my business anymore. Very amicable splits with both clients that I parted ways with this week. So this wasn't and that's why I don't want to say I fired a client. That sounds so negative, like they were doing something wrong, and that's not the case at all. We weren't a good fit for each other anymore, and it was time for me to admit that to myself and admit it to them, to be honest with them about that. To refer them to other people who could help them grow their businesses in ways that I just couldn't anymore. So when I first started my business, and my business was a year old on August 1st, so we're just a little past my year point, I thought that what I wanted to do was more like content marketing. So I had worked in a content marketing agency where I primarily wrote for clients. I was a ghostwriter. I wrote blogs. I wrote articles for trade publications. I wrote ebooks, you name it. Because if you know much about me, you know my background is as a writer. I was a journalist before I started my own business. I wrote at Forbes and ESPN, Men's Health, Parents, Glamour, a whole bunch of places. I've written 2 books. I know I always point out it in videos, but this is one of my books back here. This is my set I use when I do some of my sports hits. So I've got my book back there and some sports memorabilia that's on a table back there, because this is where I sit when I do my TV work too. So when I started my business last year, I thought what I really wanted to do was primarily write. So the initial clients that I brought in were all clients who were hiring me as a writer to ghostwrite for their blogs, write ebooks, that sort of thing. So the 2 clients I let go this week were both clients who came in when that was my business model. So maybe this will start making more sense to you. For those of you who follow me closely now, you know that I'm a publicist and that I spend my time helping people establish themselves as an expert in their niche, and then to become more visible for that through guest blogging and podcast interviews and media appearances and books and that sort of thing. So my business has changed since I started it a year ago. And if you guys ever want me to do a live about that, I will. But I have transitioned my business along the way, and I think that's healthy. I think the more that you work with people in your business, especially in the early stages, the more you're going to figure out who you want to work with. The more you're going to find out what lights you up and what you love doing. And I do love to write. And that's why initially I wanted my business to be all about writing. And that's why those initial clients were clients who hired me for writing. But I found out a few different things. There's only so much you can write in one day. When you're writing content that's that length, there's only so much creative energy you have in a day. There's only so many pieces you can put out, and it's going to cap how big your business can grow. It also is really mentally taxing to do nothing but write all day long. Now, I still write a lot in the sense that I'm sending a lot of emails and I still blog and that kind of stuff. But when I first started my business and I was really doing more content marketing, I mean, the only thing I did for my clients was write blog posts and ebooks and trade journal articles. And a lot of it was really long form stuff. And I just realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I moved into coaching, and now I've moved from coaching into being a publicist, and I have found my sweet spot, okay? I found where I was meant to be. I love sitting down at my desk to work every day. I wake up thinking about it in the morning. I go to sleep thinking about it at night. I love pitching my clients, and that's why I moved away from coaching, because I learned what I love is to be the one pitching. And when I'm coaching, I'm teaching somebody else how to pitch themselves. So my business over the last year has evolved. And I feel like around the 11-month mark of my business was when I really figured out what I wanted to do and what I loved. And I know that it's the right thing because clients were coming to me and I felt this like magnetism. My message was like right on spot. You know, if I get on the phone with somebody now, 99% of the time they are an ideal client and they end up saying yes to working with me. That is not what happened to me in the beginning. I got on a lot of calls that went nowhere. It was the wrong person on the phone with me. They weren't ready to buy. I thought that I was just crappy at selling, and now I know that that's not it at all. Like, my messaging wasn't right. I wasn't getting on the phone with the right people, and that's a talk for another time. But as my business has evolved into being a publicist, I still had these clients from the beginning of my business a year ago who came in for content marketing. And what I had done was bring on a freelance writer. It's actually someone I worked with previously at an agency, and she's a phenomenal writer. And I brought her in to write for these clients because I couldn't write for them and be a publicist for my other clients. And so, and the clients knew this. I was transparent about it. They knew I wasn't the one writing their content any longer. So that's been going on for probably 6 months or more that I haven't been their primary writer, that they have been dealing with someone else. I have written pieces here and there as I've had to, but I was keeping them around because they were on retainer. Okay. So they paid me a set amount every month. I had a revenue share worked out with my writer. So essentially I was making money without having to do any work. Okay. It's not what we all want is passive income. And that's why it was hard to let them go, because I was still making money on these clients. But I had really gotten to a point where I had a lot of negative energy around these two clients. I actually still have one client from my content marketing days. And you guys, I will say who they are because I talk about them all the time, but it's the international matchmaking firm, It's Just Lunch. I have been writing for It's Just Lunch for it's probably 5 years now. All of their advertorials that are in airline magazines where they feature these happy couples talking about how they met, I interviewed all those couples and I wrote all those stories. I wrote an enormous amount of them about 1.5 years ago and haven't had to write any more. They just keep running them. And then I write some of their blogs, but their blogs are like easy to write. It's fun. I write them like early on Saturday morning or something. I'll wake up and pump out a blog for them, whatever. I think they're fun. So I keep them around because they're a fun client to have, but they're the last of my content marketing clients. So I had 2 others this week and decided to let them both go. One had hired a new executive in the last few months, and it had required me to be more hands-on with them than I had been in the past. And they were asking me to do things that were very different from the initial relationship I had with them. And it was just creating a lot of negative energy. It was taking up more of my time. And so it wasn't really worth the portion of the revenue share I got with my freelance writer anymore. and it was just dragging down my energy. So the way I decided it was time to let these clients go is that a couple of weeks ago, I started keeping a list in Evernote of activities I do during the day as part of my business that make me feel high energy. I had another column that were things that make me feel low energy, and another column that was just things I felt kind of neutral about. And when I initially did it, my plan was anything that was on the negative or the neutral list, I was going to farm out to either my freelance writer, to my assistant, Gabby, who you guys have probably seen in the group, or my new junior publicist, Megan. And, sorry to them that I was going to pawn off on you the things that make me feel negative. But it's not things that are negative necessarily. I mean, some of them are just things that I don't like doing, that Megan or Gabby might enjoy doing. But what I found in making that list, so that was the goal for the list, was to figure out better what to delegate. What ended up coming out of that list was me putting in like all caps on the negative column, these 2 clients, because I had just gotten to a point where I didn't enjoy my relationship with them anymore. And every time I saw their email pop into my inbox, I like groaned. I didn't want to hear from them anymore. And you shouldn't feel that way about your clients. You shouldn't dread hearing from your clients. You should be so excited when you get to interact with your clients, and you should love your clients, and you should want to shout from the rooftops everything your clients do. You guys, if you are friends with me on Facebook, you see me, I share stuff from my clients, their blog posts and their podcasts and book signings and whatever else they're doing, because I'm so excited for them. And I want to feel that way about every single client I have, or it's not a good fit. I mean, there have been a few people lately I've gotten on discovery calls with, and I just realized that working with them wasn't the right fit for either one of us. And I wasn't going to feel lit up, and I wasn't going to be excited and passionate about their business when I pitched them. And so I didn't take them. So I only take clients that I am like super aligned with and very excited about working with, and who I feel like are a good fit. So these 2 clients that I had hanging on from the beginning of my business, I knew, I probably knew a month or 2 ago that it was time to let them go. And I just kept like shoving that thought to the back of my head because they paid good money, okay? If you guys own your own business, it's hard to let go of paying clients. It's so hard. And the thing is I'm meeting my revenue goals in my business. I think I talked about that when I hit month 11 in my business. That was really the first month that I was hitting my revenue goals. I had enough money. I was able to bring on a junior publicist this month so that I could open up more spots to be able to take on more clients. I mean, I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm in a really good place. And dropping those 2 clients, I knew wasn't going to be the end of the world. I was still going to be able to make my revenue goals if I dropped them. And here's the really amazing thing, okay? Within an hour of dropping the first client, I picked up a new client who is paying 30% more than that other client was, because these 2 clients I dropped came on at the very beginning of my business, and they're a different kind of work than what I do now. And so their retainers were smaller than most of my other retainers. So I actually was able to sign a new client within an hour who's paying me 30% more than the client I let go. And then yesterday I let another client go, and I actually let that client go a couple of hours after I picked up a new client that I'm so excited to start working with beginning of September. I cannot wait to tell you guys about her and about what she does. And she's in the group, but I won't tell you who she is yet. And that isn't why I let the client go. I had already decided to let the client go, but it definitely was easier knowing that I had signed a new client yesterday to then last night let that client go. So I think there's a couple of things to learn out of this. First, be really honest with yourself about why you're keeping a client around, okay? If you feel some negative energy around that client, or you just find yourself not enjoying doing their work, you don't enjoy getting on the phone with them, or you dread when they email you, or you're sitting down to like do whatever the kind of work you do is, whatever it is you do for them, when you sit down at your desk to do it, like, you've put it off, or, you're just not excited about doing it, be honest with yourself. And I love that I did those lists. So start keeping a list of things you do in your business that make you feel high energy, things that make you feel low energy, and then there's going to be some things that are just kind of neutral that you don't really feel like one way or the other about. Those things that are in that negative column, either figure out how to delegate them if they're things that other people enjoy doing, and allow a VA or someone else like that to do those things for you. Like, I don't enjoy doing Facebook ads, so I will hire someone. I haven't yet. I'm so bad. But I'm going to hire someone. I'm actually going to hire one of my clients to do some Facebook ad stuff for me and to handle the launch around my course that I keep talking about, because I don't enjoy doing that. I don't enjoy Facebook ads. I don't enjoy loading my course and building my membership site. I don't enjoy any of it. But I have a client who does and who has a team that's all they do. So I'm going to have them do it for me. So take those things that are in that negative column and give them to somebody else. Or if you should be letting that person go, let them go. Okay. And I know it's scary. I know it's hard when you don't have the revenue, but I truly believe that when you open up that space and you free yourself and you let those people go, the people you are meant to work with are going to come to you. You are going to put out positive energy. You're going to have space on your client roster for them. I truly believe that if you let those people go, you will make room for the people you should be working with. So, highly encourage you to start keeping those lists and to think about the things that are in your business that shouldn't be, that you should either be delegating or getting rid of. I am happy to stay around for a couple minutes and answer any questions you guys might have, and then I've got to go back to pitching clients. I've got all sorts of things still left on my to-do list today. So if you want to ask me questions, have at it. If you want to come back later and leave them in the comments, I will check back later and answer questions. I don't see anything, and you guys have been so quiet on this subject. So I'm going to go and get back to my pitching, which I love. And if you guys have questions, leave them for me. Send me a private message. Send me an email. I'm happy to answer them. Hope you guys have an awesome Thursday. Hope you have a fantastic Friday tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have time to jump on live or not. I will try, but I can't make any promises. So check back in the group in the morning, and I will let you know if I'm going to come on live tomorrow or not. But hope everybody has a great day. Thank you for joining me. Bye, guys.